the only coin in the top 50 that's green. And so while it might not be that green, well, that's a stable coin, so we're not going to count that. The literally only coin in the green except for a stable coin. So yeah, its relative strength is fantastic. It's doing a really, really good job. I will pay you in fiat to hire me. New stuff here. That is right. If you go to the channels tab, you'll see around the blockchain, we're almost at 20,000, 19,700. I just did one of the morning streams, one of the newer morning streams. Whoa, look how giant his head got right there. Wait a minute. Here we go. Whoa. Yeah, wow. I do the entire stream. My head's that large. I block the entire. You can't even see what I'm talking about. It's just. We just talk about my pores and pimples. But yeah, I'm starting to do the morning stream. Let's see if we can get that up into the thousands right now. Just 778. I streamed it 43 minutes ago. So pretty soon, maybe you see me Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please check that out. All right, let's roll on to hitmerch.com. Looks like we got a little updated page here. Who is that? Is that just a stock model? Is that?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Is that Owen in a wig? I don't know who that is.
Oh, it might be.
Are you wearing any hit merch? I got the hit merch on today. I got the ATB hoodie. I don't know if you can zoom out a little bit. You can see it really. Oh, whoa. Feels good. It's like stitched on, not that ironed on doo-doo.
And obviously, 2-day money flow is starting to come up, which I am cautiously bearish, right? We actually did catch this really nice short position in the premium Discord this morning. Looking for a price to come up here and grab some liquidity with this big long wick and then hopefully get it to drop back down to this value area low. We got very, very close to that final TP. But again, I've just been looking to short all of these lower highs. But obviously, we're not going to stay bearish forever. And with the way the 2-day money flow is the way it's starting to come up here does have me still leaning bearish, but just cautiously bearish, right? Because you don't want to be the last bear standing, right? And then you're just holding all your shorts, price is mooning, and you're absolutely getting wrecked. So I am being a little bit cautious as we do have these VWAPs and money flow rolling up on the 2-day and the daily. Daily green dot is now printing. This was one of the things we were looking for a potential move to the upside. And again, if we do get that and money flow does not start to shape up, I will be looking to just short another lower high. And some of the lower highs I am looking at here, really just looking at kind of this range right here, the point of control of this range. If we do get a decent move up, I will be looking for some potential rejections off of this level, unless money flow flips around, right? If we get up there and we get new information on the charts that suggests that we may we may be able to continue the move to the upside, that is where we flip on a dime, flip long, look for those entries to get back to the upside, and then we profit on the way up. As a trader, literally, we have to flip-flop back and forth constantly, but the plus side to that is we make money going up and down. Now, I do want to go ahead and take a look at XRP, guys, because XRP obviously has gotten some exciting movements here. Now, we've been looking at XRP on my channel for quite some time, and we're basically looking at this value area where we have the low of our range, the high of our range, and the midpoint of the range, right? And basically, once we got in here, I was expecting to kind of just range around in this box and not really expecting anything exciting out of XRP until we're able to break out above that value area high. And last night, we were literally saying if we do break out, things might start to push up very, very quickly because if I pull up the volume really quickly here, guys, and come up to a higher time frame, you could see, let me just zoom out so we can get some more of these candles in here. You could see, right above this level, let me zoom in a bit. Come on, there we go, right? Once you get above this level, which is basically, where we broke out of recently, just now, we have this giant volume gap above us, right? So that basically leaves us with nothing holding us back. So once you break that level and decisively hold above it, that's where you get those quick moves to the upside, and that has to do with this low volume gap here. Now, I don't know if you could see it on screen here, but there is a slight little tick up in volume right there. You can almost barely see it, but that is basically where we hit our head on right here at about 56 cents. And unfortunately, we wound up getting an extremely quick rejection right back into the range, right? So now at this point, guys, I would be expecting a potential revisit of the low of the range back down at about 49.5 cents. But it is trying to break out. And again, because we have that big low volume gap above us, that is pretty exciting, right? Because if we are decisively able to get over this, price is probably going to rip up pretty quickly, right? And hopefully not get rejected like it did here. But if we do get that movement, and I'm going to wrap it up right after this, if we do get a decisive break of this level, guys, I will look for that quick move up to our next key level. And this is an extremely key level, as you can see here, because this is basically the door to the moon. And the reason for that is if I zoom out, you can see this level does come in at about 60 cents. So I do think we could rip through this low volume gap, come up and test that 60-cent level pretty quickly if things start to move for XRP. And then at this level will be a very exciting time for XRP, because if we are able to get above this level and hold it as support, not only do you see the big fall off in volume here up to this golden pocket, which comes in at about 73 cents. Not only that, but you can see from back here, we have another volume profile. And what this does is give us context into where price may be headed next, because the value area low of this range is 60 cents. And if we can get above this level and hold it as support, the next likely spot for price to go is it's likely going to go ahead and seek out that point of control, which is actually coming in right here at about 83 cents. Now, I know that sounds really high, and I'm not saying we're going to get there tomorrow or the next day or next week or next month, but I'm just saying, if we start to break out of that level that we just faked out of, if we get decisively above that level, things are going to get moving likely very quick to 60 cents. And if we flip that to support, we are likely going to see a very similar quick move up to that golden pocket at about 73 cents, which is going to be giving you a lot of resistance. That's why this box is here. But price is likely not only going to hunt out this golden pocket, but if we can get past that, it's likely going to go for the point of control, which is about 83, around 83, 84 cents, depending on what exchange you're looking for. So it's really exciting. If we could get above these levels for XRP, things could get moving very, very quickly. And if you hold XRP like I do, that is an extremely, extremely exciting thing to see on the charts for sure.
Yeah, and if there's anything that can move quickly with these high market caps, it's Doge and it's XRP. Those two just kind of defy normal TA odds, normal volume odds, just normal large market cap odds. They kind of just shrug it off, shake it off, just kind of do their own thing. So yeah, it's something to keep an eye out on.
Deezy, what I've not been sold on is it seems like just a publicity stunt. Like, it's just like if you're a famous person and you own one, then they have a lot of value. But when all the famous people sell them, they're going to crash in value. It's more like a VIP.
Well, it did
club.
crash in value already, right?
Well, but I'm saying like it only has as much value as who holds it, being it that important of a person. The reason I'm not going to touch things like that.
You're saying like the value of the community as a whole is only as good as the additive qualities of those members.
Like, it's cool. Like, it's cool because Gary V owns one and Jake Paul owns one and this other celebrity owns one. But when those celebrities decide, you know what, apes aren't my thing anymore, what's the value?
I have a little bit of a different perspective. I went to Ape Fest. Taco went to Ape Fest.
Yeah.
I get free entry into Ape Fest holding a mutant ape. The best crypto event I've ever been to in my life. Also, I stake ape when I travel overseas because, you can't do it in America. And I'm able to stake 2,000 ape coin, and I get a pretty attractive APR by holding a mutant. So I get an additive yield by holding it. Plus, my last two NFTs were both above an NFT ETH that I've been airdropped. And so I had a HV MTL heavy metal.
Yeah,
it's worth above an ETH, and then my companion I think is worth above an ETH. Plus my other deed's worth more than an ETH, and they just keep giving me these NFTs that I could sell right now for more than an ETH.
Well, and it all comes down to education. Obviously, Deezy, you know more about this. You've researched a lot more. You've done what you need to know when to navigate it. But I think any person should learn from this. If you don't have the time to dig and research, You should kind of stay away from things.
You
you're
know,
not familiar
Kyle
with.
S said something really good. 95% of ApeCoin holders are in the red. Well, my ApeCoin was free. So, I mean, you could say
you're
I'm in the
part
red
of the
if, you know, I compared, well, if I would have sold the top or if I would sold, you know, 95% of the days, but when the coins cost me 0 and it's down, am I in the red? I don't know. It's an interesting debate to be had for sure. What is this bombshell? The bombshell proves that the SEC has been lying for years. I'm going to break down what I mean in a second. The SEC comments on Hinman's speech released in the Ripple Labs filing. The documents show that the trading and market comments, well, here, let me back up a little bit. Documents have been released related to William Hinman. He is the former director of the SEC. He worked there 2017 to 2020, and this email is related to the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple Labs. Ripple has been trying to expose these emails, but the SEC has been trying to keep them secret. Why has the SEC been trying to keep these secret? I'll show you why, because it proves that they've been lying. It proves that they've been lying for years, folks. The documents show that the SEC's trading and markets, this is the SEC. The SEC's trading and markets department had a comment on the speech, and they suggest that Bitcoin and ETH are not securities in their view. Prior to making the speech, he said in an email to multiple employees, the speech suggests we do not need to see a need to regulate Ether as it is currently offered as a security. It is important to note that, look, here's the deal. The SEC has long said, look, we don't want to show you Hinman's emails because this is a rogue opinion of a random employee. It's not a random employee, it's a director. But that's how they tried to frame it, right? They're like, look, this is just one guy's opinion. He does not speak for the SEC. Therefore, we don't want this revealed because he doesn't speak for the SEC. The markets and trading department agreed with him. That means divisions within the SEC looked at the speech and saw, no problem here. Bitcoin and ETH aren't a security. We agree. Meanwhile, the SEC said, we've never agreed with Hinman. Hinman just kind of had his own wild opinions that we didn't agree with. Therefore, you need to throw out all these Hinman emails. Now that is out, we know what the truth is. The department also noted that taking too strong a view on Bitcoin could undermine their efforts towards other cryptos that are also securities or that are securities. It also expressed concerns that the sentiment in the section saying that Ether was not a security. It said if Hinman wanted to make a blanket statement that ETH is not a security, this would need further internal discussions here. Who do we have the quote? I think this is Brad Garlinghouse. Yeah. Wish I could go in depth now, but we waited this long, 18 plus months. I don't want to overstep. Suffice it to say, Brad Garlinghouse said, I believe the documents were well worth the wait. Now, is it mean that it's over tomorrow? No, it doesn't mean that it's over tomorrow. But does it show that the SEC had a broad understanding that Bitcoin and ETH aren't securities? Yes. Did it have a broad understanding that Hinman's viewpoints were largely the viewpoints of the SEC? Yes. And Hinman has said these things aren't securities. This is good news. We're going to see why is XRP losing. Let's see. Where are we at on the price right now? Let's click on this. Scroll down. XRP probably going to be 8. No, 6. Yeah, it's down 1%. Well, if you look at the rest of the markets, coins are down 15%, 20%, 6%. XRP, about the only coin in the top 50 that's green. And so while it might not be that green, well, that's a stable coin, so we're not going to count that. The literally only coin in the green except for a stable coin. So its relative strength is fantastic. It's doing a really, really good job. I will pay you in fiat to hire me. Look, his name's Taco. Listen to him. All right. Look, let's do some Deezy lessons. Just despite what may be coming out of my mouth the previous hour and 20 minutes here, I can give some sort of joy here to some people. And the way I'm going to share joy is to stop the main thief of joy. Morel, you know what the main thief of joy is? The number one thief of joy is comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, okay? When we compare ourselves, we diminish ourselves. When we compare to the guy in the nicer car, we diminish what we have accomplished. Also, there's something about comparing yourself. There's a downside to it because when you compare yourself to somebody, say it's on Instagram, you're looking at their feed, you're looking at snapshots of life. You're not looking at all the hard stuff. And say you compare yourself to Warren Buffett, right? He's, one of the richest people in the world. I think he's like number 3 right now. I look at Warren Buffett. There's people who are just going to say, man, if you could wake up as Warren Buffett tomorrow, would you do it? Oh, in a heartbeat, I'd be a billionaire. Would you? because you then wake up almost 90 years old. Your back's probably going to hurt. You're probably going to have a wet poop. I mean, there's going to be all these downsides to waking up.
You have to spend time
you
with
just
Charles
think of
Munger.
the good side.
You have to spend a lot of time with Charles Munger too. Is one of the downsides.
What's wrong with Charlie?
You just have to spend a lot of time.
You walk to the McDonald's together. You drink your Diet Coke.
It's just a downside.
So when we, you don't think of the negative aspects. When you have to compare yourself to somebody, think of it as sticking your hand in a bucket of fish hooks. Sure, I want to stick it in there and pull out the Lamborghini and the bank account, but you're also going to pull out the ED, the inability to walk. Maybe he hates his home life. It could be your neighbor. It could be your coworker. It could be your best friend. It could be your younger sibling, your older sibling. It could just be someone that you kind of despise, but you kind of admire. Think of all the bad parts, okay? So never compare yourselves to somebody else, because that's just going to steal your joy. Just gratitude. Just be thankful for what you got. Don't compare yourself to what they may have, because you don't know what's going on underneath the surface. That Lamborghini could have, what's a bad thing that happened to an engine?
The bad thing that happens to engines?
Yeah.
They blow up?
It could throw a rod. The next time they switch gears, it could throw a rod. So look, you don't know. It could have sugar in the gas tank. So when you look at that Lamborghini and say, man, what's really going on? It could be sugar in the tank. Just think of all the bad things. Comparison is the thief of joy. Carper coin, you got to focus on thankfulness and gratitude. It's like Gary Vee said, love is undefeated. All right, that's all I got. Deezy out. Hit that like button, everybody. And make sure if you haven't watched it, watch the Around the Blockchain morning stream. Give it a little like. We'll be doing it Thursday morning as well. Ben should be back tomorrow.